Be bold and behold.
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 Welcome.
Welcome to the 2021 Be Bold and Behold virtual gala.
Good evening and welcome to the 2021 Be Bold and Behold virtual gala.
I'm Aaron Hill.
I'm Olivia Hill.
I'm Amber Romine, sister to Monica Zealand Hill, the founder of Be Bold and Behold.
I'm Kevin Zealand, Monica's brother.
We could not be more excited to be your host for the evening.
Be Bold and Behold was started 4 years ago by our founder, my sister, Monica Zealand Hill. After getting the devastating news of metastatic breast cancer diagnosis, Monica decided she needed to act big. The galas have raised over $400,000 in support of metastatic breast cancer research. Here's a little bit more about Monica and how it all got started.
She had this fantastic mane of red hair, and it really fit her because she was fiery.
She was a people person. She just loved engaging with everybody she met. And I went from being Kevin to being known as Monica's brother all of a sudden. And that's pretty much how it went. She had a remarkable way of making friends. She was everyone's best friend, and legitimately, she was a wonderful friend.
So Monica and I first met our senior year in college. And so we just kind of like met one day out at a party, and I said, hey, I think you know my roommate. Actually, I think you know two of my roommates. And so she had this quality of being able to open you up in a way that, it's other people don't really have that ability to do. We were just sort of inseparable, from then on. Monica was diagnosed in July of 2017.
Up until, her diagnosis, if you would have asked her or asked me, frankly, or anybody in our family, oh, how bad is it to get breast cancer? You would think your reaction would be like, oh, it's not good, but if you catch it early, within the course of a week, it went from just being something that we could operate on, right, and treat with a little radiation to, recognizing that it had already spread. And then from there, recognizing that that's a terminal diagnosis, that there are 40,000 people dying every year, 113 people every day. And so she was trying to get comfortable with this idea of, those numbers aren't too good, right? Life expectancy is 3 to 5 years. And then wanting to scream at the top of your lungs or her lungs, this is not okay. Because as she started meeting people, she started realizing, oh my gosh, there are so many of us, right? There's this entire legions of men and women who have this diagnosis, and it's kind of invisible. It's not about fighting and being victorious. It's about figuring out how to survive and how to be scrappy enough to seek every treatment, every clinical trial opportunity, and recognize that it's still likely not to be enough. And I think that really lit a fire for her.
About the 2018 Be Bold and Behold Gala, I remember it came up very fast. I think I want to do a gala. So okay, we'll raise some money. I think I want to do a gala soon. So okay, I think I want to do a gala in 3 months. It's okay, let's do it. Monica basically put it together in a span of 2 or 3 months. She was just very motivated to make it happen.
In 2018, we raised $100,000. Year two had to be bigger. It had to be bolder.
With the second gala, Monica wasn't even sure that she was going to put on a second gala. After meeting with some of her Met sisters down in DC at the Stampede, they actually encouraged her to put on that gala.
Now, in addition to educating everyone about metastatic breast cancer and the need for research, she was also celebrating these people that were just like her, dealing with this diagnosis, this reality, and at the same time, celebrating these wonderfully amazing people themselves for who they are.
Our honorees in 2019 were Chris Fierro, Tiffany Faust, Tammy Bowling, Kate Petrides, and Monica. We made her include herself. She didn't want to, but so you had these 5 women literally living and struggling with MBC, who all showed up in this incredible way. And then sadly, right, we lost Tiffany within weeks, and then nobody would have bet, right, $1 million, but Monica we lost not even 2 months later, right? And then Chris we lost in October. I would say for a long time we weren't sure, right, that we would do another event, and I think we were really in the midst of our grief. Dominique Ciano, who's a dear friend of Monica's and who played a critical role in the previous 2 galas, came to us and said that it was really important to her. She really wanted to do another event. She really wanted to raise enough money for a translational research grant. We were fortunate to identify 3 honorees. We recognized Jenny Byram, we recognized Jasmine Clark, and we recognized Trish Russo.
In 2019, we raised $150,000. And in 2020, we raised over $165,000.
Again, the reality of this disease, raised its ugly head. We lost Jenny and Jasmine within the year from their disease. And if you saw the pictures from the gala, right, as if you had seen the pictures of Monica the year before, you would not have thought they were dying. But that's the reality of MBC.
Yeah, so after the 2020 gala, COVID started to emerge, around the country, around the world, and it became more and more obvious that in-person events were not going to be a thing. So let's lean in, let's go all in on the virtual event. That's what we're all doing this year. We're all working from home, so let's have a gala from home.
It was important to have the gala this year if enough of us continue to cherish life and show it by spending our money to fund research. Perhaps others can be spared that same loss. It's what Monica would have done. She was fighting for her life and for the lives of others, but she was also making it accessible for us to do something about it, for the people who care to do something about it.
Tonight, you'll hear from our amazing honorees about how metastatic breast cancer has impacted their lives.
We'll talk with METAvivor, the incredible organization who channels the money we raise into metastatic breast cancer research.
You'll hear from one of our research grant recipients so you can see where your money has been put into action.
We'll show you how to mix a great cocktail and mocktail.
We'll have a little music, and of course, feel free to dance.
But most important, there will be hope.
Hope that we can turn a terminal condition into a chronic one.
Hope that we can extend the lives of the more than 40,000 people who die of metastatic breast cancer every year.
Throughout the night, we're going to shout out some of our over 400 supporters and sponsors who've already given to Be Bold and Behold.
We encourage you to become part of that giving right now by using the links on the screen or by texting BEBOLD to 76278.
We want to thank our supporter level sponsor, Stagecoach Digital. We really want to take a moment to thank our partner level sponsors, the law firm of McCusker, Anselmi, Rosen, and Carvelli, Susan G. Komen of Greater New York City, and Propeller.
And we would especially like to thank our advocate level sponsors, the Pond Leadership Group, Ethicon, and the Cyan Gray Hope Foundation.
We've had so many supporters already give to this year's Be Bold and Behold, raising tens of thousands of dollars so far.
But we're not done. Our goal is to raise $50,000.
We hope you'll give right now using the links on the screen or by texting Be Bold to 76278.
A $250 gift will get you a spot on our supporter wall at www.beboldandbehold.com. For $500, you can add a message. And for $1,000, you can customize it with a photo.
Let's take a look at our supporter wall right now.
I support METAvivor. I support METAvivor.
I support METAvivor.
I support METAvivor because 100% of the funding goes towards metastatic breast cancer research.
Because metastatic breast cancer has taken people from me, people that I love.
I support METAvivor because I miss my Auntie Tiffy and I want other people to get better.
METAvivor is the only 501c3 organization to direct 100% of all donations to metastatic breast cancer research.
METAvivor was founded by and is still largely run by people with metastatic breast cancer.
Since 2009, METAvivor has awarded $18 million in research grants.
It's operated almost entirely by volunteers, allowing all your donations to go right to research.
Now let's hear from Jamil Rivers, METAvivor's amazing board president.
Hi, my name is Jamil Rivers. I am board president of METAvivor, and I am living with metastatic breast cancer. My MBC story was shocking. I was under the age of 40, typical chief executive, running around, really busy, married mom of 3 kids. I didn't have the traditional signs or symptoms for breast cancer, and really just had a lingering cough. We were able to determine after the biopsy and mammogram and all of that, that I had metastatic de novo breast cancer from the start that had spread all over my body, to my brain, except my brain and my spine. During my journey, I got really involved with advocacy right away, just because I was just so shocked by the lack of investment in metastatic breast cancer research, which to me just doesn't make any sense, because metastatic breast cancer is the breast cancer you die from. And the general public believes that we have really clocked and solved this breast cancer thing, but really we have not. Survival is categorized as 5 years, and 35% of all breast cancer patients are going to go ahead and become metastatic. And so in order for us to reach that point where metastatic breast cancer is a chronic illness, we need to have more investment in research on what is killing us. The only thing that's really going to improve our survival with metastatic breast cancer is the research. A lot of different organizations that are out there that are claiming to be investing in metastatic breast cancer research, it's actually investment in preventing metastasis. So again, more so focus on the early stage instead of that intervention and research on cures and treatments that's going to sustain our lives that have metastatic breast cancer already. And so what's different about METAvivor is we invest in only solely metastatic breast cancer research that is actually going to benefit patients that are living with metastatic breast cancer. We also ensure that these are treatments that are not going to be some theoretical pipe dream 10, 20 years from now. We're investing in clinical treatments that will be in the patient setting within 5 years. And that's really important to us, where people that are investing in us we're making sure that we can benefit people that are living with MBC in the immediate foreseeable future. Also, every dollar is tracked. We are a volunteer-led organization, and every dollar goes to research. With HIV/AIDS, they didn't say, oh, we're only going to focus on, the HIV part. No, they focused on the AIDS part too. That's what's killing you. We need to actually invest in research that's going to stop us from dying from breast cancer. And the breast cancer you die from is metastatic. So that plane falling out of the sky every day of people dying from metastatic breast cancer is 116 people per day and 42,000 deaths per year. There's just still too many deaths from metastatic breast cancer. It is the breast cancer you die from. And we really need to bring more attention to the fact that only 6 to 10% of all breast cancer research goes to metastatic. And I think that if you really want to save lives, it really should go to metastatic breast cancer research because that's the breast cancer you die from. Everything else, you have such a high survival rate when it comes to the earlier stages. Once you get to that metastatic, that's where you're succumbing to the breast cancer. So that's what we really need to invest and put our dollars in order to make sure that we can stop it. Oh, if you've already given to Be Bold and Behold, thank you so very much. I hope that you will see that, we were able to make sure that all of those dollars, if you just look at all the various research that we're funding right now, translational research, where those treatments are going to be in the clinical setting within 5 years, and we're learning so much more. So knowing how to appropriately and accurately treat liver metastasis, right? So that people can live with those mets, finding ways to actually permeate metastasis in the brain and breaking through that blood-brain barrier. I mean, there's just so many new developments with this research, and we've just cracked the surface. So the fact that you're supporting METAvivor, there's so many other projects that we just can't fund right now that are just as promising as the ones that we had to prioritize, but we only have so much funding. So as we grow, more research, more treatments, and I look at it as like we're going to have more survivors, people living with metastatic breast cancer, the more that people support, and every dollar goes to research.
Now, let's hear more about how your donations are making a huge difference.
METAvivor has awarded over $18 million in research grants, and your Be Bold and Behold donation goes directly towards that.
So let's hear from Dr. Brad St. Croix of the National Cancer Institute at the National Institute of Health. Dr. St. Croix's Tumor Angiogenesis Unit develops new approaches to detect and treat primary and metastatic disease.
And he's the recipient of a Be Bold and Behold grant.
My name is Brad St. Croix, and I work at the National Cancer Institute in Frederick, Maryland, and I head the Tumor Angiogenesis Unit. So in order for tumors to grow, they have to evoke a new blood vessel supply in order to sort of give them oxygen and nutrients so they can expand. If you think of grapes on a vine, for example, the vessels would be the vine, and basically for those grapes or those tumor cells to grow and survive, they need the blood from the vasculature, and so we're trying to cut off the blood supply, and in turn indirectly kill the tumor cells. And so our lab spent several years trying to identify the proteins that were selectively elevated on these tumor infiltrating blood vessels. After finding several, the focus of our lab then sort of shifted to trying to exploit these new drug targets in order to develop better drugs for cancer therapy. We think we're making progress in this area. We can now eradicate tumors in mice that are about 1,000 millimeters cubed, which is actually quite a large tumor. This is about the size of something you could image in a real patient. And so not many people have published papers where they can eradicate tumors this size. So based on that criteria, we actually think we're making very important progress into this area. Antibody drug conjugates, or ADCs as we like to call them, are basically just that. They're comprised of an antibody, which is a protein that can bind to a specific receptor, and conjugated to that antibody is a small cytotoxic drug. We sometimes call it a warhead or a payload. It's what basically does the cell killing. So basically we have a unit to target the drug basically to whatever receptor we're trying to target. So by selectively targeting molecules that are elevated selectively at the tumor site, we hope to minimize toxicity. If we can lower the toxicity, these drugs should be a lot more well tolerated in people, and so we should be able to get a much better, what we call a therapeutic window, essentially. Yeah, so research grants, especially the METAvivor grant, they're incredibly important to a lab like ours. So outside funding, what it does is it allows us to expand into new areas that we wouldn't be able to easily venture into otherwise. Trying to create drugs that target late-stage metastatic disease will always be more challenging than trying to treat earlier stages of cancer. And this makes this type of research just inherently more risky. So the funds for the grant will enable us basically to hire a new postdoc fellow and provide the reagents and the supplies that are necessary to carry out this work, which actually science and research just in general is very expensive. Yeah, working with METAvivor has been fantastic. They've been super supportive of our work. What I think is great is that the METAvivor really values the importance of working on late-stage metastatic disease models. Like our lab, they understand how important it is to conduct further research and to improve therapies for late-stage disease, and that with enough resources and energy, we absolutely can turn late-stage metastatic cancer into a much more manageable disease. Therefore, I think we share a common goal, essentially. We have a very multicultural lab. We have visiting scientists from Taiwan, from China, from Korea, and Nigeria. We also have a couple of Americans, but I'm just so very grateful that these people from both the US and afar have decided to join us in this common cause. It's really their dedication and team efforts that make everything possible for our lab. Yeah, for those who support BEBOLD and BEHOLD, I'd just like to say thank you so much for all your support. I think this is just an incredibly important cause, and your support means everything to our group. Our goal is basically to make major steps forward in the treatment of late-stage metastatic breast cancer through the development of less toxic ADCs. I can certainly promise that our lab will continue to do their absolute best to try and make this all happen.
$200 can fund a day of research in the lab. $1,000 can fund a week.
Whatever you donate, 100% of every dollar will be directed towards research, which is what we desperately need more of.
We hope you'll give right now using the links on the screen or by texting BEBOLD to 76278.
Guys, this is a virtual gala, but it's still a gala.
What would a gala be without a cocktail or two? Or a mocktail?
So we had our resident mixologist, Max Faust, whip up an incredible BEBOLD and BEHOLD signature drink.
Hi folks, this year's signature drink will be the Bold-Tini. And here we go. We have some spiked cherries, and I'm gonna take one of these out and place it inside the flute. All right. And then we're gonna take a little bit of gin. Now, I like Hendrick's Orbium, but you can use any other gin. Tanqueray is really good too. And we'll just put a nice shot of that in here. All right. Ooh, nice. Ooh. Okay. And then we're gonna take a touch or splash of cranberry juice. I'm just gonna put a little bit of that in there. I think that's fine, because then we're gonna use the pizzos, and that's Prosecco. Let me just stir this a little bit. All right. And here we go, Prosecco. We're gonna pour a little bit of this in here. I say we go, let's pour some in there. Yeah, that's about right. All right. Well, folks, the Bold-Tini.
Cheers.
We've had so many supporters already give to this year's BEBOLD and BEHOLD, raising tens of thousands of dollars.
But we're not done. Our goal is to raise $50,000 this year.
We hope you'll give right now by using the links on the screen or by texting BEBOLD to 76278.
A $250 gift will get you a spot on the supporter wall on BEBOLDandBehold.com.
Some more names from our supporter wall. Thank you, Joy Dorsey. Dominic Sciano, thank you. Kimberly Perry, John and Tina Byram, Nadine and Andre Kearns, Jesse and Bree Rosen, thank you. Thank you, Laura Falk. And remember, a $250 gift will get you a spot on the supporter wall on BeBoldandBehold.com. You can post a message there with a $500 gift and put a photo with a $1,000 gift.
Part of what's made Be Bold and Behold incredible is the opportunity to honor some amazing people in the metastatic breast cancer community.
This year is no exception. I'm proud to introduce our first honoree, Lisa Ladico.
My name is Caroline Barney, and I'm proud to introduce as a 2021 Be Bold and Behold honoree, my friend Lisa Ladico. Lisa and I we're fast friends. We met when we started working on a Christmas pageant at church together. We got into the thick of it fast, and we were just meant to be besties from the beginning.
Sometimes people would mistake us for the other.
And so everyone would talk to us as if we were the same person. So she just loves big, she gives big, she embraces people in a way that is wholehearted and true.
So I live in Westport, Connecticut, and I live with my husband of 25 years, Tony. We have 2 emerging adult sons.
She's an incredible cook, and she's always coming up with all sorts of gluten-free, egg-free, sugar-free things that still taste good, and I don't know how.
I want to live my best life. It's a life that is full of learning and is full of love.
She is such a high confidence person. She's always there on time, getting done what needs to get done. She will push through anything.
When I'm helping a woman entrepreneur, when I was a consultant, when I worked as an organizational development professional in a large telecom company, it was about helping others meet their potential professionally. When I worked for the Bloomberg administration, I really like to see small businesses marry their business interests with development of people and skill sets for people getting a job that would improve their lives and improve the communities where those businesses were operating, and then became a clinical social worker because I wanted to make a difference in alleviating the stigma of mental health. The common thread was helping other people, and that's what kind of makes me happy.
She's a dynamite human, and she's a human who's a force to be reckoned with too. And I'm not even biased, that's just true.
So my NBC story started in August 2017. I would continue to go into my OBGYN office and say, there's something not right with my breast tissue. There's no lump, but I don't feel right. And I would have multiple mammograms and ultrasounds, and nothing was found. And then we did an MRI, and that's what found the breast cancer. It was a shock because I'm the 4th generation in my family to get breast cancer, but the first to be diagnosed at stage 4 or de novo. In our family, everyone gets, breast cancer on the maternal side of my family. I'm the oldest of my generation. And so everyone older than me, you get breast cancer, you get it at the early stage, and you have surgery, chemo, and you move on and live to your 94, like my Nana. It was a big adjustment for our family and for me. Thankfully, because of my situation, my younger sisters all get annual MRIs, and it will save their lives. I had to learn everything that I could about this disease and was shocked to realize how little, even with a strong family history like mine, how little I truly understood. First off, it was like I need to protect my family from this tragedy and somehow make sure that they're going to be okay. I initially insisted on joining a support group at the hospital that at the major cancer center where I'm treated. And that support group kind of unlocked this world.
She really feels passionate about educating and being there for other women who are going through metastatic breast cancer.
The podcast came out of that because I felt like, wouldn't it be nice to have all of this great content and the stories from other people living with this disease available for them right in their phone.
You know, at the beginning when she was first diagnosed, it was such a fire hose of information and learning and managing. So for her, the ability to sort of pull some of that in closer and make that easier for other women is a wonderful thing to be able to accomplish.
The name of our podcast is Our NBC Life. We're very proud of this, that, you know, we did this in the height of the pandemic because we're all behind our screens. We're all isolated during this time.
Lisa launching and running and managing this podcast is awesome. It's been such a remarkable thing to watch happen.
We had 27 experts and advocates and oncologists and researchers all joined in those 28 episodes, covering a myriad of issues that impact our community. We aim and hope that our podcast really does reflect what it's like to live with this disease.
It really is a means for her to communicate information and create community at the same time.
I get a little feisty when I see injustice, and so I think that's another piece of the puzzle.
Once she was diagnosed with breast cancer, she learned very quickly about a lot of the inequities that were happening, and it really became important to her to focus where funds could go for late-stage breast cancer.
Did you know that 30% of people with early stage progress? And did you know there's still no cure? And did you know that the number of research dollars that actually go directly to metastatic breast cancer research that actually will find a cure and actually help early stage breast cancer patients all the more is dramatically underfunded in proportion to the, gazillions of dollars that are being spent in early stage breast cancer.
I think for Lisa to be honored at Be Bold and Behold, it is such a gift to her to be able to be such a present and important part of raising awareness and funds towards metastatic breast cancer.
So I'm very grateful. I'm also very grateful for the opportunity to raise funds for metastatic breast cancer.
Lisa Laudico is a spark plug. She will make anything happen. She will love anyone to the tip of their head, to the tip of their toes.
For me, living with this disease has been the most devastating thing in my life, but it doesn't fully define me. It's not everything about my life. I've been able to manage sort of the mental anguish of this situation with action, and that's kind of the way I roll anyway.
Thank you, Lisa. You are amazing.
What a great time to give and support people dealing with metastatic breast cancer, like Lisa is every day.
You can give right now using the links on the screen or by texting Be Bold to 76278.
By the way, you can go get yourself an amazing Be Bold and Behold sweatshirt by going to BEBOLDandBehold.com right now.
Now, our next inspiring honoree, Kelly Davis.
My name is Justin Beck, and I'm proud to introduce as a 2021 Be Bold and Behold honoree my fiance, Kelly Davis. Our story started like a lot of good ones do, in a bar. We were introduced through a mutual friend. I thought she was one of the most interesting people I'd ever met. You know, good listener, good conversationalist, smart, funny, tough to impress.
Just as my fiance, I put him through hell.
She's courageous. She's tenacious. She's compassionate. She's resourceful. She's my best friend. So I knew when I met her that she had metastatic breast cancer, and talking to her, I found out a little bit more, a lot more.
When I was diagnosed metastatic in 2014, it was my third breast cancer diagnosis. I was 31 years old. And by that time, I was celebrated for my first breast cancer diagnosis. I was a stage 1 at 26, and I was this survivor, right? I was young, I was beautiful, and I was celebrated by pink ribbon organizations all around as this survivor that beat breast cancer. And I was in commercials, and I was on television. I was this pink ribbon champion. By the time I was stage 4, come back in my bones, nobody wanted to talk to me. And that devastated me. And I started to realize that it was because I didn't have a success story. I was going to die from this disease. And that wasn't something that was marketable. That wasn't something that they could sell. So I decided that I was going to do something special for metastatic breast cancer because nobody else was. I'm like, you know what? Like, they're already doing a race. They're already doing walks and stuff like that. Like, what if we did a gala or like, a party, like a masquerade ball? And then it hit me, masquerade. I started to, try to put something together, and I talked about it on the under 40 group for metastatic breast cancer patients. A person called Lisa Quinn, who, little did I know, lived 20 minutes away from me, was like, I want to get involved. And we got together, and within 6 months, we created the first masquerade. And that was in 2016. And we raised, I think, $113,000. And we're just like, wow. 6 other masquerades that were started, all helmed by metastatic breast cancer patients, like people that are dying of the disease, taking up the cause of raising money for their own disease. I mean, who else does that?
I think Kelly eats, breathes, and sleeps improvements in metastatic breast cancer community, improving research, improving funding, improving outcomes, sharing knowledge, sharing experience, sharing support. That's her primary driver.
The Stars of Masquerade has netted in the past 5 years $1.25 million. Every penny of that going to metastatic breast cancer treatment research, and I could not be more proud. Like, that's my legacy. Like, that is just incredible. And when I go to all these events across the country and I walk around, it's like I've been part of this. It's a part of me. And I know that Monica felt the same way, when she walked around, be bold and behold. So I have been living with metastatic breast cancer for nearly 6.5 years. And most of that time has been in complete remission. I had experienced a pretty dramatic recurrence recently. I was working full-time until very recently, and really had 0 cancer reminders. I lived as if I had no cancer. And it's like being diagnosed for the first time, honestly, right now. It's kind of a new experience for me, honestly. And if anything, it really recommits me to the cause of metastatic breast cancer research, and really just how much we need treatment research and how much we need precision medicine. I really hope that people understand that we still need money. We desperately need resources. We desperately need help and hope. Please understand that this is something that we cannot take for granted, that we really need to invest in research now that 40 years ago this should have been happening. We're the generation that's going to change that. We can change that. We will change that.
There's this quote by William Faulkner where he says, "I believe that man will not merely endure, he will prevail. He's immortal not because he alone among creatures has an inexhaustible voice, but because he has a soul, a spirit capable of compassion and sacrifice and endurance." And I think that quote speaks to Kelly's ability to embody not merely enduring, but persevering.
When I was first diagnosed then, I sold everything that I had. I got ready to die. And right now, what you see behind me is my new dining room because I remodeled in the past month. I'm not getting ready to die. I'm getting ready to live.
Thank you, Kelly. Amazing.
Guys, we need to support her. You can give right now using the links on your screen or by texting BEBOLD to 76278.
Let's hear from our final honoree tonight, Erica Griffiths.
I am Joseph Wright, and I am proud to introduce as a 2021 Be Bold and Behold honoree, Erica Griffiths. I think what makes me most proud about knowing Erica is her heart. She's very loving and giving, and more importantly, she's very open and honest. To know Erica is to love her. I mean, she likes The Princess Bride and Lionel Richie equally, so what more can I say?
We've actually known each other since I was about 6 years old.
At an early age, when we met, it was clear to me that I had met someone very special.
So we've known each other for a ridiculous amount of time. We've had Izzy together in the house, and my motivation 100% is my daughter. So my MBC story started in 2016. I was breastfeeding my daughter Isabel, who was 16 months old, and found out that I had breast cancer, and within a week found out that I was stage 4. So I had metastasis to my bones and my liver and started chemotherapy within about 2 weeks.
When you get the metastatic breast cancer diagnosis, it takes the wind right out of you and leaves you speechless.
There's so much to learn, trying to stay on top of the most up-to-date stuff. I have 2 oncologists, for example. So I have my local oncologist, and then I have a triple negative specialist as well. Sometimes I'm fighting for doing, genomic testing. It's a full-time job. It's a full-time job, literally. It's very time consuming, and it's my life. It matters. I have to stay on it. I can't just sit back. So my job prior to this was in marketing, and it's funny because that job, I feel in some ways has kind of lent to some of the skills that I have with my role in the MBC community. I admin 5 Facebook groups. I'm on social media quite a bit. I try and help with resources and whatnot, and sharing information both with the MBC community and constantly trying to educate the general population as well. 10 years ago, the MBC community didn't really even exist like this. To have a person with the same diagnosis is someone who completely understands what you're going through. And it's about dealing with the diagnosis, but it's also on an advocacy level or action level. It also gives you some control, when we go down to the Stampede, or when you're involved with that research, when you're fundraising for METAvivor, you feel like you're doing something, and we're doing it together. And I feel like where we live a life with so little control, having that is huge and powerful, and an empowering thing for us as a community. So for me, 2020 was probably the most challenging year ever on every single possible front all at one time. Yes, medically for myself, it's probably been my worst year. I just keep having progression after progression after progression. So my treatments have been harder. I run this local MBC group for the tri-state area, and we're used to getting together like face to face. We're not making those connections that are so important to us, and we're trying to, just like everyone else, we're on Zooms and trying to make up for that type of interaction. That's been very difficult, I think, especially for the people that we've lost, not being able to say goodbye in person and things like that. That's been really difficult. And then, of course, Izzy, who was that 16-month-old, is now right smack in the middle of kindergarten now. So I focus a lot on her for sure. Yeah, I mean, she's my motivation for everything. I mean, every pain, every, anything that I do, money, savings, anything that I do is because of her. Absolutely. When I was diagnosed, and I mean, I had no idea if I would even make it to kindergarten, and then here we are. All I can think about is trying to make sure that she is as grounded and normal and all of those things as she possibly can be right now. But it's a lot of planning for the future too. So if I'm not going to be here, what can I do to make things better for her? What can I plan now? So it's almost like trying to speed parent in my head, like it's almost like a laundry list of all these things, like what can I do to take care of her, basically, or influence, or all of those types of things, because this is all I ever wanted in my life, was to have her, and then I have her, and then the idea of me not being here is just horrific. I would say also my motivation, like I had mentioned earlier, is just around this idea of what can I do, what can I control. So if that's fundraising for research, maybe that won't help me, maybe it'll help her.
I think her will to battle this disease every day, the way she does, is fierce. You see a mother and I see a prize fighter. You see a friend and I see Superman. You might see a daughter or a sister or a cousin, and I see a lioness.
To be an honoree, actually, I had no idea that it would happen. And it's the most sweetest thing when I look at the women. I think you guys have only had women so far. But in past years, like, these are some of my most favorite people, ever. They're so elevated to me and so amazing. So the fact that, my name crossed anyone's mind really makes me feel very good. So hopefully that means that you like me, because I love you guys so much. It's just just a really sweet thing. So yeah, it does mean a lot to me.
Guys, Erica deserves our support. She's counting on our support.
A $250 gift will get you a spot on the supporter wall on BeBoldAndBehold.com. A $500 gift will let you add a personal message. A $1,000 gift will let you add a photo.
A few more from our supporter wall. Thank you, Alicia and Emilio Delia. Thank you, John Noble, Amy Phelps, Aaron Kaplowitz. Thank you, Marcy Brown, Leslie Shue, Jill Seeger. Thank you. And remember, with a $250 gift, you can have a spot on the supporter wall on BeBoldAndBehold.com. $500 lets you leave a message on the wall, and $1,000 lets you put a photo with a message.
Hi, my name is Kim Mason. My sister Tiffany was one of the honorees at the Be Bold and Behold Gala in 2019. 1 week later, she died of metastatic breast cancer. It was so important for Tiff to be able to attend the gala that night because she wanted to give the next person with MBC a fighting chance. Tiff used to always say to me that it's completely unfair that they were forced to rely on old, outdated drugs that were developed 60 years ago, chemotherapies that were developed 60 years ago. We need to be able to bring new drugs to clinical trial now. We do not have time to lose. The number of 25 to 39-year-olds with metastatic breast cancer has increased 32% between 2009 and 2015. 116 people are dying of metastatic breast cancer every single day. That's the equivalent of a plane falling out of the sky every single day. I know we can fund the next breakthrough. The research is there and it's just waiting to be backed. That's what we're here for today. Because I know that together we can make a change. We can give hope to the next person for a future where they do not have to miss their mother, their sister, their aunt, their partner. We can give hope and time to somebody. Hope is a powerful thing, but hope is nothing without action. Please donate now and help us give the gift of time. We're here because Monica had a vision that we can make real change, that it doesn't have to be this way. These women deserve time, and the only way that we can give that to them is by donating now, by buying that time, by buying the research that can put a drug into clinical trial. That is the best way that we can honor the people that we love. That is the best hope for our future, a future without MBC. Please donate what you can to help give us that hope of time. For Lisa and Kelly and Erica, for every single patient struggling with MBC right now. We cannot do this alone. We need your help. Please help us buy that time.
Since Be Bold and Behold started in 2018, we've lost 5 of our incredible honorees, including my sister, Monica. Let's take a moment and remember these irreplaceable women. As Kim said, hope is a powerful thing, but hope is nothing without action.
It has been an honor to help raise so much money for an incredible charity like METAvivor.
It's not too late to give. It's never too late to give. And give again. And tell your friends to give.
You can give right now using the links on the screen or by texting Be Bold to 76278. From all of us at Be Bold and Behold, good night and thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for all that you've done.
We can do this, people. Let's raise some money.
When I wake up in the morning, love, and the sunlight hurts my eyes, and something without warning, love, bears heavy on my mind. Well, then I look at you, and the world's alright with me. someone else instead of me. Always seems to know the way. Then I look at you, and the world's alright with me. Just one look at you, and I know it's gonna be a lovely day.